thing. So I started, just getting on the phone with a bunch of founders just inadvertently. It wasn't really intentional other than just having curiosity. And from my previous background, I worked in VC for a bit. I worked in finance in a traditional setting, and then COVID hit. Really was in love with Web3 and the technology, and just wanted to go all in. So in order to learn, you got to talk and well, more importantly, listen, but get on the horn with really cool founders, similar to your story. I'm sure that we're about to find out, but that's kind of what inspired the show, the channel. And I'm in the process of creating an app. If you're familiar with what Product Hunt is, I'm basically like trying to bring the same identity that has to Web3, and more specifically to Farcaster MVP. So just getting on the horn with founders was the impetus of all of this. And my wife was like, I'm so tired of you just being on the phone and not documenting it. Start a podcast. So here we are.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. That's a great story. And I feel like our paths are very similar. I spent about better part of 20 years, let's just call it the traditional sector, working for government contractors and working in acquisition and large big companies, a lot of rules, regulations, standards to abide by. And just kind of like so many, fell in love with the Web3 space and all the amazing things that are happening and all the companies that are being built. And how so many, I guess, for lack of a better word, standards that I brought up earlier is just like, we're just challenging those standards and finding new innovative ways to create businesses and capitalize on efficiencies. And so it's the most exciting space to be in. So it's like, what, it's time for that shift and doing great things, which we'll dive into at Decentralized Pictures. But yeah, had to make the career change.
Absolutely. So you mentioned government contracting. In what capacity were you involved with that?
Yeah, yeah. So I worked in the career field of contract management. So definitely in the acquisition space. So, negotiated awards. I worked for the Air Force for a while, Department of Energy, a myriad of agencies, just negotiating awards, negotiating price, delivery terms, warranty terms, all that kind of stuff, all that kind of boring stuff that needs to go on paper. But boring but important stuff that had to go on paper to execute deals for various supplies and services on the government side.
That's awesome. So was that the bulk of your career? And then what was the catalyst to the change?
Yeah, so that's been the bulk of my career after graduating from college. And and even in that career field, I fell into that career field. You graduate from college, you're tired of, living off of mom and dad, and mom and dad were tired of me living off of them. So it's just like, got to make a living for myself. And kind of like, okay, I just need a job, just like anything, I'll just take it. And it happened to be a really good job. Um, Met some great people along the way, and got some good kind of business skills that are really transferable and that I think that I can capitalize on and leverage, even helping build a company like Decentralized Pictures. But yeah, that was kind of my background. And then it was, I think a lot of people have this story with blockchain and crypto. I think it was the holidays of like 2017, and I came across like this Bitcoin thing, and people started talking about it, and it was like a really big time for XRP, I believe, and it like skyrockets. Like, okay, what are they? They're in like this remittances space, and they're trying to disrupt the banking industry. And so I have a background in economics. That's my actual bachelor's of sciences in economics. Like, okay, this is curious to me, and I just started kind of going down the rabbit hole of understanding, how they're built. And they have this token that's associated with Ripple, and just kind of understanding how the tokenization of financial assets might work, and then kind of just letting my mind run of other industries where tokens could be applied in different capacities.
Got it. So then I guess that kind of gets me interested in what decentralized pictures is, just from like a value proposition. When Michael, we can give Michael a shout out for putting us in touch, but
Absolutely.
yeah, no, I think for me, one of the more fascinating things, like you're alluding to, is when your brain's going a million miles a minute, thinking what other industries can be disrupted from blockchain technology, cryptography, etc. I think it really you could innovate any industry with it. I think it's applicable to any. You just need to find like a good product market fit for it. But one thing that the thing that I was really infatuated by when Michael reached out to me was how can you disrupt the film industry? So if you maybe that's a good segue for you to just kind of introduce the audience to what you're building at Decentralized Pictures.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and thank you to don't want to screw up his name, Michael Varday, for making this connection, allowing this interview to happen. So, um, I'll try to keep this somewhat brief, but I've had a love affair with movies. I think most people like movies; they enjoy movies. It's a great outlet. I've had, whether it be a really relaxing week or a very stressful week, what's a great way to decompress? Let's just throw on a flick. Maybe a brand new flick. It may be a flick that I've watched 50 times, but there's something cathartic and just something relaxing, and you can just kind of, rechannel your mind, your thoughts whenever you put on a film. So I've loved film from a very early age. I was one of those kids, kind of like I'm aging myself here, but like watching, the early stuff of Kevin Smith and Robert Rodriguez, and you know. Robert Rodriguez, was known for kind of like, very independent, running around with a camcorder, grabbing shots, and so I wanted to be like that. I wanted to be like Kevin Smith and Robert Rodriguez. And, so I had buddies around me that they wanted to be like Kevin Smith and Robert Rodriguez too. And let's just go grab camcorders. If he can do it, we can do it. Well, obviously they're very, very talented filmmakers. And I quickly realized how hard it is to make a really good film. Um, and so it started at a very young age. And then, like with many things, as you get older, sometimes you unfortunately start to give up on some of your dreams because, like, oh my gosh, one, I'm not as talented as Kevin Smith and Robert Rodriguez. And, like, just how do I penetrate this industry? It's just like, I wrote some stuff, some screenplays, went and took a couple classes. And, I'm just like, okay, I'm thinking about film school, but I'm just like, you know what? This is just too risky. And I just can't see how I can penetrate this market unless I have like an already existing like network to tap into. Okay. And so let's fast forward without drowning you in the
Well, no,
15.
that's what we're here for. This is long form, man. We could talk all day, but I actually want to go back before you go forward.
Okay. Okay.
Did you grow up on the West Coast?
No, I grew up in the central part of the United States, so in Oklahoma.
Okay, got it. All right. Because
Yeah.
typically, like, I lived in LA for 6 years, and when you talk to the kids that were there, all of them were so infatuated by the filmography, the cinematography. They knew the art. They knew not only the actors, of course, like everyone does, but they know the producers, they know the screenwriters, they know the directors, they know everyone that's behind the scenes and what like little cabals are built around different productions. And it's just really, so it sounds like when you're talking about Kevin Smith, I just know him from what was it, Jay and Silent Bob? That was
Of
Kevin
course.
Smith, right? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
of
All
course.
right,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're not dating us too much. Maybe I think I consider myself a little bit of a dinosaur too. So like
You're an old
maybe,
soul.
yeah, 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 exactly. So, but no, Jay and Silent Bob, and then what was the other one that was really famous? He did Dogma. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Mallrats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mallrats.
Chasing Amy.
Chasing
Yeah.
Amy, that was a great one. Yeah, yeah. But okay, so that you and your crew, your friends, you would run around with camcorders trying to just replicate that. That was your childhood, basically.
Right, and this is before like, and I was one of those guys. I just didn't necessarily want to be an actor. A lot of people think of film. Oh, I want to get in the film industry and be an actor. And that was never me. I wanted to be one of the guys that was like, behind the camera. I wanted to be the cinematographer. I wanted to be the director. My heroes, were the directors. Like, of course, he's Silent Bob, but I mean, Kevin Smith is just—he's a filmmaker. He's a writer. He can do it all. He can direct. He can write. He understands cinematography. He can do it all. And so I really wanted to be that person who created the product behind the scenes and just wanted to watch the magic unfold through the viewfinder. I wanted to look through the viewfinder and see the magic unfold in front of me. And And so, yeah, that was me and my buddies just like running around and trying to capture them. And this is before like nonlinear editing. So, I felt like this local, it was like, a community network where you could like rent, editing space. Like it was like, I don't know, $3 an hour, and you use these old linear editing devices. Or if you do what's called like, just called a dissolve, but it's also called old school A/B roll, where you like push this lever to go to fade from one shot to another, and like we take our footage in there and like push that lever and just time it just right, and you can hear like the tapes like clicking behind you, and it's just like total dinosaur technology compared to what we can do just from our laptops now. But it was just so much fun and just creating stuff, and for the most part nobody really wanted to watch it except for us and our friends, but it was a ball. It was awesome.
Yeah. So I never got to the point. I had one. I interned at Discovery Channel after my freshman year of college, and the intern project was you had to create a short film, and I like had no experience with it. Luckily, they pair you up with people that work in post edit that actually know how to work a camera, et cetera, et cetera. But I got to lead the project because no one else wanted to step up and be the leader. So that was the first and last experience I ever had of doing something creative with film. But like, it did not win. It definitely did not win the competition, but had fun doing it. And I had a deeper appreciation for people that try and put thoughts to film. It's not as easy as just like, oh, I could have done that better. I mean, even like from B-roll to cutting scenes, like what's the transition? I mean, it's difficult. So I have a huge appreciation for it, a love for it. I got to learn a lot more living out in LA, but like, yeah, I guess going back on track here. So you wanted to talk. I brought you back, but maybe you could bring us forward to like what it looks like the transition from going from government contracting to now really pursuing what's now decentralized pictures.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, I had kind of stepped away. I was in a career field that, I liked it, but I was ready for a change. And, whenever I came across, and so I've got to tap into your background there, your surfboard.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
first came across Decentralized Pictures while living in Cocoa Beach. So my wife was working out there. We spent a summer out there about 3 years ago, and I was doom scrolling on, it's called Twitter back then, on X, and of course I was following all these blockchain projects. I'd be interested in blockchain and a lot of different projects that were happening. I came across this entity called Decentralized Pictures. And I'm like, okay. And there was just like a headline, like, listing their token on a certain exchange or something. I was like, okay, I'm going to click on this. I'll bite. And so I started reading, went to the website, kind of digested it. And it's just like, okay, I like what I'm reading here. This is really cool. It's a perfect juxtaposition of something that I love. I always loved, even though I didn't pursue like a career in film, I never stopped loving it. And so I still love film production. And then I'd been fairly familiar with blockchain and crypto technology for since 2017. And so this was the summer of 2022. So I was already 5 years into blockchain and crypto. So I'm just like, this is the perfect combo. I love this film and blockchain. So, kind of started going down the rabbit hole and just decided that I wanted to be a part of this organization. Signed up to the platform. We can talk about more details on everything that it entails, but I became a moderator on the platform. Even started to volunteer to. I knew that they needed more social content, so I wanted to be like Jeff here and create a podcast. I'd never been a podcaster before, and so I reached out to the CEO, and he's like, all right, let's do a couple of test episodes and see how it goes. We did that. And here we are. Like, I don't know, we've recorded like close to 50 episodes with DCP now. And, just helping out kind of on the sidelines and an ambassador. And just really fell in love with the project and the ethos and what they were trying to create at DCP.
Got it. So tell us about it. Like what are they creating? What do they do? Like tell us the like, how the sausage is made, I guess.
Yeah, right on, right on. So Decentralized Pictures is a 501c3 nonprofit, and it exists to discover new and innovative filmmaking talent. Okay, so and it was created by American Zoetrope, which is a film production company that's been around a long time. It was founded by names that you're probably going to be very familiar with: George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola, founded in 1969. And they have created so many films, won many Academy Awards along the way. And so it was co-created by American Zoetrope, which is essentially run by the Coppola family now. And one of our co-founders is Roman Coppola, very active with Decentralized Pictures, and then Leo Matchett is a technical Emmy Award winner. He's the CEO of the company, and so it's really here to discover. So going back to like the ethos of wanting to discover new, innovative, untapped talent, that's all the way back from American Zoetrope. That was like part of their ethos when they were first founded as an organization, and they wanted to stay true to that. And I would say that the centralization problem of film is probably as bad as it's ever been. Where, again, back to one of the reasons why I never went into the industry is because I couldn't figure it out. It was so centralized. Unless you're in the network, if you're not in the circle, how are you going to penetrate this? Who is going to read your script? Okay, if you create a good demo reel, who's going to review it? I'm pretty sure if I send my script over to one of the major studios, I'm not going to hear anything back. It's going to go into a black hole. It may be the best script. I may be paid thousands of dollars for treatments and for people to polish it. More than likely, I'm not going to hear anything back. And and so this process, it's unfortunate because there is so much good untapped filmmaking talent that's out there in the world. So essentially, at its core, its fundamentals is we have a film financing model. Okay, so essentially, it's free to join. You go out to decentralized.pictures, and we have financing awards that are created on the platform. These can be created by organizations. These can be created by individuals. For example, we talked about Kevin Smith earlier. Kevin Smith had a comedy screenplay award, $40,000 best comedy screenplay award. Okay, Steven Soderbergh, probably recognize him. He did all the Oceans films, Magic Mike, so a very acclaimed filmmaker. He created 3 awards valued at $100,000 each for finishing funds. So essentially, a filmmaker's created most of the movie. Now they need that extra funding to kind of push them over the finish line for like some reshoots, color correction, final editing, things like that. So organizations, individuals create these funding awards, and this is where the real beauty, not only funding awards, but they also agree to a mentoring component. So not only do you win money, but then guess what? Steven Soderbergh's going to work with you, give you notes on your project. Kevin Smith's going to work with you, give you notes, help guide you. They've been in the industry a long time. Okay. And so anyone can go onto the platform. So there's criteria for every single award. Like I said, some of them are like screenplay awards. Some of them are for narrative features, documentaries. We've had all kinds of awards on the platform. Anyone can submit a project, okay? A small submission fee, very small. Submit your project, and then the community decides who's
That's
most
so
deserving.
cool.
Yeah,
No,
the
this
community.
is truly decentralized. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
from the so I guess there's a variety of different genres that you can apply for. It's not just comedy or, adventure, thriller, that they have a variety. So like if I'm a short film independent artist, I can go onto decentralized.pictures and I can go look up any grant or awards and enter myself into the competition.
That's right. That's right. There's no pre-qualification. You don't have to be represented by an agent. Anyone is welcome. So, and that's who we want on the platform is independent filmmakers that have talent, and okay, they've created something or want to create something. They have other colleagues, teams that a team that they want to tap into to make a project, but they just really don't have a home for it.
Mhm.
And we want Decentralized Pictures to be that home for that new innovative talent.
Got it. So where is the, blockchain component that is offered by decentralized pictures? So the way I'm hearing it, it's definitely decentralized in the sense that like you're democratizing access to those that are kind of gate kept by the agents, the nepotism, the politics that are involved in Hollywood. But like where's the tech piece?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I'll try not to mess this up. I'm director of comms, so I'm not the blockchain
That's all
engineers in the
right. Yeah,
background,
yeah.
but I'll try not to screw this up.
In
Um,
layman's even, like, that's totally
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So at the origin, so at the very beginning of this, so Leo Magid, who's the CEO of the company, he has a strong blend of filmmaking. With film school, he's got that background in filmmaking, but also he has a very technical background as well. And so he, in a very early, whenever Bitcoin was the white paper was released, and the world went abuzz about Bitcoin. He was very fascinated with decentralized technology, and tried to think about how filmmaking, which the decentralization aspect, when we just talked about how that curation process is being decentralized, what value blockchain could bring. So we've recently just migrated. So let me take us back to where we migrated from. Originally, the chain that we created was our own layer one chain. Okay, and it was a hard fork of Tezos. Okay, because at this time, that this is rewind back, to like the 2017, 2018 period, all these layer twos didn't exist. These scaling solutions for like Ethereum, they didn't exist. So at the time, creating our own chain, our own layer one, hard fork to a chain that had fairly reasonable gas fees, that seemed like the most logical place. Okay, so and we've been on that chain for the last few years. Okay, and this is very hot off the press news. We've only been on base now for a couple weeks, but we did successfully bridge from our own layer one to it's actually our own app chain. So think of it as our own layer three on top of the base layer two.
Got it.
Okay. And essentially, but all of the transactions settle to the base network, but our own app, for various reasons, wanting to scale for, we've got high expectations for where our app is going, where our enterprise is going. We have our own dedicated block space. We want to make sure we have those things. And that's why we chose to have an app chain. Um, and I believe we're one of the first companies to do this, to build an app chain on base, or at least one of the few first.
Yeah.
So, and really, and like with so many things, I'm a big believer that in any industry where there's voting or things that need to be immutable, where, okay, a transaction takes place and I want confidence that it hasn't been messed with. It hasn't been manipulated in any way. And because, I mean, these are serious filmmakers that really want to advance their careers, and they want to know that the people that go on and make votes, that vote is permanently recorded
That
on.
system isn't gamed, and that is the, like,
Exactly.
PTSD for, okay, so now I'm getting it. Like, because the question going through the, like, value prop here, I understand democratizing access, but the utilization of blockchain technology, it's now, okay, like, it's immutable. Like, there is a you guys take the voting component very seriously, where you do not want these artists feeling gamed. You don't want them to, like, feel left out. It's all on chain. You can see how the votes occurred, what wallets are, like, voted in what way. I'm sure that's what's offered on the app. That's incredibly important, because I think, like, where there's a lot of pride in what you're building, and there's also ego as well with these
Yeah.
artists. Like, they need to know that there was, like, definitive evidence of how their votes went. So that makes
Right.
sense.
And we want to go even further than like, okay, it's recorded on chain. Well, sometimes that's kind of in the background. That technology is kind of happening in the background, but we want that transparency there too in app. So essentially, you talked about, kind of putting your egos at the door because, like I said previously, as a filmmaker, as an independent filmmaker, like I said, options are pretty slim on where you can go once you've finished a product. And a lot of, the main place a lot of indie filmmakers go is film festivals.
Right.
Okay. They submit their work. Of course, the dream is to be in like Cannes Film Festival or Sundance or Tribeca, but there's hundreds of other film festivals worldwide that can be, you could submit your work to. But the challenge is, and I've gone through this myself, is you finish your work you submit, which it can get very expensive when it's like $30 here, $50 here, $75 here to submit to all these film festivals. And once you submit your materials, it kind of goes into a black hole. There's this silence. And then you kind of wait weeks, months for some kind of, it's usually just a letter. Yes, you got in, or no thanks, better luck next time. Okay. And if you're really lucky, you may get a few notes, but that's pretty rare. So with our platform, as these reviews are coming in, they're showcased right there for the filmmaker to see, for the rest of the public to see the write-ups. And so as a filmmaker and as an artist, I think it's important, and we always want our feedback to be constructive. I mean, we're not asking everyone to love every project. We want people to be authentic and provide their honest evaluations. But we hope that it's a mechanism that can help build and help filmmakers grow. Because as artists, we may not be able to see some of our blind spots and areas of improvement. So by seeing this feedback come in and it's documented, yes, on chain, but it's also publicly available for the filmmaker to see, like, oh, this person really liked this aspect. Okay, great. Okay, they weren't crazy about like the way it was shot, my set design or something, and that they, because we have other filmmakers on the platform that can give,
So there's
feedback.
real-time feedback that's offered on the app. So if I okay, so another question, when they are submitting their work, is that being submitted and like that's on chain? Is that another component of it as well? So like, okay, got that.
Everything that happens on the app is recorded on chain. Yep.
Okay, so even the submissions. So then the feedback that they're getting as well from these mentors, directors, previous filmmakers, whatever, they are posting that in the comment section. Or I don't know how the app is hosted. I don't know what it looks like, but I'm assuming that those comments are there left on their work as well.
Absolutely. It's right
That's
there.
amazing.
Essentially every project that's created has their own like dedicated page.
Right.
Okay. And
So
it's
they
on
have
the
their
app.
own landing page, their own like card that shows like what the work is, who's the director, and then under will be the review and feedback if they got around to giving feedback and reviews for that
Right.
work.
And there's incentive mechanisms too that's built in. So essentially once they have that landing page and they've uploaded essentially all the requirements of the award, whether it be like an intro video introducing themselves as a filmmaker, talking about previous work, stills, if it's a screenplay award, a sample of the screenplay, the first few pages, and then they'll probably provide a description too of who they are as a filmmaker, what the story's about, and so forth. And then there's a right column where you can start seeing the evaluations come in and the comments that are provided and whether people recommend the project, consider it, and so forth. But there's also an incentive mechanism where once they have completed the application and there's a small submission fee. We try to keep it fairly low because we want to keep the barrier to entry as as limited as possible because we really want as many filmmakers on this platform as we can. They can create what's called a bounty, where they can add more. We have the talent token, which is our native token on chain, and they can incentivize people to review their project. And so whenever the round ends, uh, a distribution of that bounty will be distributed to the people that took the time to evaluate their project.
That's
There's
great.
that incentive mechanism. I want to incentivize you to review my project.
That's amazing. So, and I love the model. I think that that can be replicated along among a lot of different marketplace apps, et cetera. And I highly encourage having the native token, being able to incentivize people to review, comment, and encourage them to not just write, oh, cool film, but like, hey, look at this. Like, these are the things that I highlighted after thoroughly looking through your project. This is what I came back with. That's vital. Right. And I think we need more of that. But what was I going to say? So are you going, is there anything along in the future coming along in the future about a potential film festival?
Boy, that's a great idea.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have thought about that. I don't know if I'm stating the obvious or giving away too much alpha, but that would be great.
No, no. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, of course, any organization. Now we have worked with some film festivals to this point. Having awards on the platform in partnership with certain film festivals. So essentially, the award criteria. There's always a financial award, but for that, believe the last film festival award we had, it was like, okay, if you win the competition, guess what? Automatic entry
I see.
into the film festival as well. So that was pretty cool. We hope to have more awards like that. Now, DCP sponsored kind of a film festival. Yeah, definitely did something to keep on the radar, and that would be really cool to see that unfold in the
Got
future.
it. And then, so you keep alluding to the payments that are needed for submission
Yeah.
to enter. Are they accepting crypto as a form of payment?
Yep.
All
Yep.
right.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I believe we just because we had the changes on the app, I believe you can pay in, of course, the talent token, which is the native token. We went from in our old chain, it was the film token. Okay. And then whenever we migrated, we went to the talent token.
And is that talent token on base?
It is.
Okay,
It is.
got it.
Yes. It is listed on base. TALNT. Yes. And so yes, to submit, I believe you could pay with credit card. You could pay with crypto as well.
Got it.
Yep.
No, that's really exciting. So, how can people find the app? It's just going to decentralized pictures.
You got it. You got it. Yeah. So just check us out, decentralized.pictures, and you can go out there and just you can see what we're all about. There's an about us page, kind of like the history of DCP, how it works, and then you can access the awards as well that are out there. We currently have two live awards. One I definitely like to put a big plug in, and that's the Base Creators Award. We just released it. It's been out there for a few days, and it's really a celebration. This award is really because, like we've talked about, decentralized pictures was structured for filmmakers, focusing in on the independent filmmaker community. But we wanted to celebrate that there's a strong movement of creators on base. Okay, and we wanted to create an award that welcomes um, all base creators, all base artists to participate in this award and discover what we're creating at Decentralized Pictures. So right now we have the Base Creators Award that's out there. We're going to be giving out like $5,500 in funding. First couple winners receive like $1,000. Let me see if I can bring it up here. You know, and you can do app.decentralized.pictures or just decentralized pictures, and it'll get you there. So this is the main landing page. you know there's an about page here. This is kind of like all the information about us bridging to base, how it works, signing up, a quick KYC check, make sure you're not a bot, that you're a real human. We want real humans participating on the platform. Team, buy some swag. You can donate. You can create your own awards out there. If you're like just a lover of films and just like, what, I'd like to create an award out there. You can do that. You can do that on the donate page. But right here, you kind of see this scrolling action going on here. We've So this is an award that's live right out there on the platform. Actually, I want to talk about the Base Creators Award. So
Yeah.
let's go here. So all the awards, you can go right there to click on them, and you can see some previous awards. As you can see, this one's active, and so we're taking submissions through July 21. You can see the award specifics, what it's all about, and top three projects, $1,000, $500, and then we're going to promote your work through DCP. We have it coined on Zora, so trying to collaborate with some other great base creator communities out there. So yeah, check that out if you are a creator of any kind. And this is not just filmmakers, photographers, musicians, whatever your artistic talent is. Creativity is for everyone, and that's why we created this award.
Love it.
But yeah, you can see through going back to that awards page, you can see some of these other awards. We talked about Steven Soderbergh, his award. We had an award from Fujifilm. So we've had a lot of great stuff. So you can go out there and explore. We had a horror filmmaking initiative. This was a lot of fun to do this one. And there's more coming. There's just two out there that are active. Uh, there's going to be more. We wanted to make sure that the migration to base was nice and clean before we had too much activity on the app, just making sure everything migrated properly and everything seems to be working well. So more awards to come.
Fantastic. This is really exciting in a really innovative way, to not only utilize like blockchain and having it immutable and having all of the feedback in real time from like, you know, valuable valuable resources, right? But then additionally, finding a way to innovate the archaic system that Hollywood has been. I mean, the barrier to entry is damn near impossible unless you know people.
It is.
So to take that away, the best that you can, and then leverage blockchain on here, it makes a lot of sense. So this is really exciting. What I know that was one of the big plugs you wanted to share was the new the base initiative that you all have. But is there anything else that you can share with us right now that is on top of mind?
Yeah, so another big development, and it's occupying a lot of the team's time right now, but we want to make sure we do it right. So, soon to be released. Gosh, I hate throwing out dates because that's dangerous. We'll just leave it at soon. DCP Plus. Okay, so we're going to be releasing our own streaming platform, and Plus seems to be the way to go. There's a Paramount
Everyone's got a
Plus.
plus. Disney
Everybody's
Plus.
got a
Everyone's got a
plus.
plus. Yeah.
And what we think that we'll be able to do to differentiate ourselves from all the other pluses that are out there is really we're going to have a nice mix. So it's our own streaming platform that will be accessible right through the DCP app, and we're going to have a place for independent filmmakers to be featured. Okay, we won't just have indie films out there. We will have a good mix of major motion picture productions out there. So there will be some content out there that's been released by major studios like Sony, Warner Brothers, and stuff like that. So you'll see some of these content and movies that you're very familiar with, and you know that they're large budget films. But also included that will be visible to the public is independent films as well. And so I don't know about you, but when I go scrolling on Netflix and Amazon Prime, I'm not seeing a bunch of indie content out there.
Pretty
Okay, there's
tired
not
of
much.
the slop that is offered on Netflix, to be completely honest. There's some good ones, but I've seen it too many times. But no, hold on. I want to backtrack just a smidge, and if you
Yeah,
can't share too much info, that's fine. But so let's just say, are you basically? I mean, I think the answer is going to be yes, but is it just a marketing like opportunity and a showcasing opportunity for these independent filmmakers, or are they going to be paid, per stream, or like, because I think that even for this podcast, the way that shout out to Pods Media, the platform that I put these on,
yeah.
what they do is they convert every episode into NFTs, and then people that want to support the show, they collect the NFT. Is it a similar model that you all are approaching?
Yeah. So essentially, first and foremost, the filmmakers own their work. Okay, that they're not signing away any of their rights, any of
Wow.
their IP. Okay, and that's a big item for us and one of the big focus areas. So true ownership of not only their work but of their earnings. Okay, so right now the plan is to only charge a small hosting fee because, as you would imagine, uploading movies takes a lot of space. Okay, so there's a hosting fee that we're gonna need to charge, but it's going to be very nominal. We're going to try to keep it as low as possible. But for every stream, every rental, we're going to have different streaming models. We're going to have TVOD, AVOD, SVOD, uh, transactional video on demand. That's like when you just rent it for like
Right.
24, 48 hours. AVOD, that's with advertising, with ads, kind of like Tubi. If you've ever watched a film on Tubi, and SVOD, a subscription video on demand, unlimited streaming with a subscription. So there's going to be different streaming models. And then similar, yeah, again, shout out to the Pods Media guys. Those guys are awesome. And if you're a creator on there, at the bottom there, you can kind of create a rev table. So if you want to distribute, so that minting activity that you were talking about, if you want to, create like a percentage of like, okay, 70% of every mint goes to this address, and then the other 30% goes to this address. We're going
Correct.
to have a similar kind of like cap table model where the creators behind these projects can share in the revenue with everyone who dedicated their time, effort, and expertise to bring this movie to life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I mean, that really does change the game. I think I just think that, like, looking at the entertainment industry as a whole, that is another problem in itself of how people are paid out. And major record labels, like, they're notorious for shorting, giving the artist the short end of the stick. So that I mean, that's truly innovative. That's truly disruptive, and in benefit to the creators. So very
And another
excited to
big
learn
thing
more.
I'd like to add is there's just no gatekeepers either. So while we're going to house the app, now you have to abide by our code of ethics. We're not going to agree to upload content that's just gross, pornographic. That's just not our space. There's other spaces for that stuff. That's not decentralized pictures. But as long as you subscribe to our code of ethics, you don't. You upload it.
Right.
You're not getting permission from some major studio or from one of the other streamers out there. Like, you got to ask for permission. They've got to give you approval. And for us, no, you share your production with the world and start participating in in our model. And then hopefully there'll be a population, the world loves your content, and you can benefit from it financially. But yeah, there's no
Definitely.
gatekeepers.
So what's interesting too is that you're structured as a 501(c)(3). You're not
Yep.
a for-profit entity.
Nope.
So yeah, that's interesting. It's interesting how there's going to be, so you don't even have a share. You're charging hosting fees. It's not like you're participating in any of the revenue generated from the independent filmmakers.
No, the independent filmmakers are the one benefiting. Yeah, and any profits that we receive revenue goes back into our film fund.
Got
So,
it.
so essentially,
Oh
like submission
gosh.
fees and things like that, it's an evergreen system.
Right. No,
You know,
truly.
yeah, where we can continue to create more awards, more opportunities.
That's great. No, this is a really cool platform, really cool thesis. I love it. This is very exciting stuff. So, um, yeah, no, I mean, is there, so I'm asking, I keep like trying to pry, like, is there anything else that's going on? But, um, no, really curious to learn more as it progresses. And you don't have a firm launch date on on the Decentralized Pictures Plus. Yeah.
Not a firm date. I mean, we're aiming for, like, I will just say a matter of a couple months. That's really what we're
Wow.
aiming for.
Wow. And how big's the team?
I mean, we're a small organization. Luckily, we have some great ambassadors, that help us out on the side. But we're a small team. We've got some blockchain focused individuals. We have people that are focused on, like me, that are external comms. Um, you know, uh, we have folks that help with, like, PR and accounting, and so, and luckily we can tap into some of our, we've got a great, if you go to our website, you can see a great collection of minds in our board of directors. And so we tap into their expertise and their advice on a lot of big decisions that we make as an organization, because there's a lot of seasoned professionals out there. And then our small team kind of helps execute.
Got it. So
We're
what
enough to
it
be dangerous. I'll put it
uh,
that way.
of course. No, I love that.
We do try to stay lean, though.
Definitely. So do you have, aside from yourself, like, the marketing presence, are you guys just basically focused on X, now Farcaster? Is that seem to be like the target audience that you're going after?
Yeah, yeah. So right now, yeah, I mean, we're on all the social media channels, of course. We may look at some as we get closer to DCP plus, some other marketing avenues. But we've been fairly successful with building a strong following. We're very active at our Discord channel. That's kind of like where the filmmakers hang out, and
Absolutely.
we try to create a lot of sub channels for. Um, filmmakers that maybe they need an extra, for a film that they're making, or they just need some tips or some suggestions on camera equipment or sound equipment or lighting equipment, and it's a great place, a great collaboration space for people in the community.
That's really cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Very excited to see. I mean, there's so many opportunities to scale as well. Not just with like independent filming, but in media, in the arts in general, of how you could help out so many artists that need something like this. So, no,
I
this
mean,
is
I,
really
I
exciting.
say it's I always say it. I know it sounds cliche, But I remember what I felt like as a young filmmaker, and I just felt like it was just impossible, and I just gave up on it. I feel like we really are making dreams come true. If you don't believe me, go back to some of the podcasts that I host for DCP where I get to interview all the winners, and I can promise you there's some dreams coming true at Decentralized Pictures.
Yeah, absolutely. I firmly believe that that is not cliche at all. I think, but again, like, you know, it's not just filmmakers. Right now, obviously, that's the sole focus. But as you guys scale out over the next, I would hope for the long term, 10, 15 plus years, if you really master the craft of helping these independent filmmakers, there's so many other forms of media and art that you could really break into and help using this platform. So this is really exciting. I'm happy and I learned a lot today. I didn't think that it would be possible for Hollywood to be for that system to be innovated and disrupted like this. So it's really encouraging, even if it's on a small scale. Right now, you have to start somewhere. So that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, already great things happening, but we've got big dreams at Decentralized Pictures, and we're going to keep growing, keep scaling.
So how can the audience here that are tuning in, how can they get involved? Aside from just going and checking out the app, what are some of the calls to action that you can have them do?
Yeah, so yeah, of course. First and foremost, go out, sign up, create an account at
Even
decentralized.pictures.
if you're not a filmmaker, you should still participate. Yeah.
I love this question. I love this question because I can almost attest that everyone loves films. I mean, I don't know anybody that doesn't like movies. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. Okay, you got your certain kind of movies that you like to enjoy, but everybody likes watching a flick. Okay, and how cool is it to like? And I'm pretty sure after you go watch a movie, guess what you have? You have opinions
That's
on
awesome.
that film that
God,
you
that's so
like to
cool, man.
share with people. So guess what? Even if you're not a filmmaker, and I actually want to see more people like this, is joining the platform just because you like movies. Go out there, sign up for an account, start watching people's content, give them feedback, give reviews. You'll be rewarded for your time. And then guess what? You get to have a voice. You get to help decide what films are being created, even though you're not a filmmaker.
Do you all have a leaderboard? And I
Yes.
can explain. Okay, so if I'm a commentator and I give my feedbacks, I can be what's his name? Roker, right? Like Ed Roker.
Yeah.
I could be a movie review specialist
Yeah.
and I could go in and I could be at the top of the leaderboard and it's like, oh, Jeff, is getting the most points. So like people really take his opinion pretty seriously. Is
Yeah.
it as similar? Oh my gosh, yeah.
Absolutely, and there's different and the more you interact on the platform, it tracks all that activity and you can climb through the ranks.
Right. Oh, that's
Exactly.
so cool. I love it. My wife is gonna love this. I'm gonna make her get an account right now. So
Absolutely, go out there, yeah, and so do that for sure, jump into our Discord channel, kinda see what we're up to, and even if you just had a dream of just like, "You know what?" Like the next screenplay award, "I'm kind of a writer, but I kinda just like I don't know what to do with it. Write a screenplay, submit. Well, what's the worst that's going to happen? People give you a little bit of constructive feedback, and like you can just fine tune your skill, and then you've just created a new love in your life that you kind of knew existed out there. But now I'm going to feed it and nurture it.
that's right. No, that's
Yeah,
so cool. So wait, there are grants or awards that are offered just to screenwriters?
yeah, we have. We've had a few screenwriter assistance grants.
Wow.
Yeah, they just help you write. So like we kind of and you can put it towards anything. Say that you need to concentrate on your writing, but you don't have time for the part-time job or what like you need to concentrate or just to pay your rent, that month. Here's some money just so you can concentrate on what you're trying to do.
Wow.
Create your content. Yeah, yeah. So we got a
Really
few.
special.
Yeah.
It's really special. I think what you guys I didn't even realize the component of the participant. I thought that those comments and reviews were just for like the people that are giving the people that are giving the feedback are the people that are judging and like awarding. I didn't realize that it was also for like just regular end users like myself that enjoy films.
Right, right, absolutely. Yeah, it just like anybody is welcome. So we've reframed it. So this is live right now on the platform. So it used to be called the Screenwriter Assistance Grant. Now it's called the Filmmaker Assistance Grant. And this is the sixth award that we've done. And so this is, and like I was talking about, it can help pay for your rent or whatever. It's for $1,500. Use it for anything. but we hope that you put it towards your art. All you have to do is submit a pitch video or a sample of your work. That's it. Okay. And so there's 12 active projects. We put a minimum of at least 25 submissions. So there's 13 more. Here's all the ratings. We've got over 800 reviews that have come in. Here's the award, 1,500 bucks. Here's the submitted projects that are out there right now. And so, yeah, it's just to help
So,
writers write.
so help me here and forgive the ignorance. So
Yeah.
if you go to the projects that are offered, where's the comment section that can get you points, rewards, and like get you on the leaderboard?
Oh, shoot. So, well, good grief. Let me get out of this. Decentralized. Let me get us
Take your
back
time,
in. Are
all good.
you going to edit around this
I can
dry
edit
spot?
around it if we need to, but it's all good. The audience I have is patient,
What do
or
you
they're
use for editing?
just I use Riverside. Everything I do is on Riverside. So
That is awesome.
yeah, I've had my gripes, but for what it is, it's really good.
So, since we're going to edit this piece out, I'm curious now. What's the monthly fee to use Riverside?
I think I pay like 15 a month, $15 a month.
Okay, because so StreamYard is like 30 bucks, something like
Let
that.
me check. Hold on.
I mean,
While
it's
you're
great. I love StreamYard, but yeah, it's getting kind of expensive.
Yeah, I mean, there's a live stream component too that's like 200 bucks. Like it was like 35 bucks a month to get the live stream feature, and I just never opted in. I was like, I don't even want to do that. So yeah.
So I'll get back into this. Okay, cool.
Let's see it. Can't wait.
All right. There we go.
All right.
Okay, and we're back.
Yes.
Okay, so back at the awards page. So we were talking about the Filmmaker Assistance Grant number 6. Just click on that. You can see the rules, eligibility, and if you scroll down here, you see all the projects that have been submitted. So let's go to this project, Primrose Inn. Okay, so here's kind of the uploaded content, a little video, some stills. Here's the log line, project description, and here's all the reviews we were talking about over here, project reviews. So here's what people had to say and kind of their overall rating. So here's the
Is the
narrative.
entire film uploaded? Because
Um,
wouldn't it? Go ahead.
yeah, so it depends on the award. So for this one, the pitch material is very light. So this one is just a trailer.
Okay.
So it's just like looks like a little over a minute that's
Okay.
uploaded there, and
So
it
that's
just
what's
depends.
being judged and reviewed by by me, right? So it's
Yep.
not wow.
Yeah, you see all this information that's been uploaded. Anybody who has an account can go out here, so you watch the material, and then there's a little review button. So review project right there. And then there's a piece where
But
you
look
can,
at the first sentence. The provided material is very light. It's hard to review some location snaps and a quick outline of the project. Like that's actually
yep.
good feedback. Like
Yeah,
you may need to submit more. And I appreciate that. I think that's something that, like I alluded to earlier, is it's not just someone saying, "Hey, cool video." It's like, "Hey, look, I want to be helpful here. You got to give me a little bit more to work with other than, a 1 minute trailer." And no offense to the person, like I'm just that uploaded it. You know what I mean?
right. And sometimes it's like that. I see reviews like this. So there's a moderation component as well. Like whenever people submit reviews, we want to ensure that they're appropriate for publicly being posted.
Yeah, of course.
Um, for the most part, it's great. People are wonderful on the platform, and yes, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely approved, approved, approved. Um, but yeah, so we want to we like them to be constructive, to have constructive feedback. If you love it, great, perfect. But if you've got some constructive feedback, I think that's wonderful too.
So, are you going through each of these comments? How are you monitoring spam and like bots and all of that stuff?
Yes, so a moderator, a human, is looking at, and obviously, I'm sure your mind's going to this place. This could be a real scaling issue. And, once we get up to the point of where we have hundreds, thousands of projects on the platform, and we have thousands of reviewers all over the world, and we've got reviews, like hundreds of reviews coming in every hour. This could be a real challenge to keep up with. Right now, yes, we are moderating every review that comes through. And yes, bots are, we do have to watch out for, does this look and sound like a real human wrote it? And it can be challenging sometimes.
I believe it. I
Yeah.
certainly believe it. But this is a very cool. I love it. This is a great model. User interface, the user experience looks great. I can't wait to play with this. Like genuinely, I'm gonna get active. This is really cool.
Yep. Yeah. Please do. Please
Yeah,
do. And tell people about it. I still feel like it's one of the best kept secrets in the filmmaking
I
space.
think so too. Like this is just one of the best kept secrets. Period. I think people like now that I'm fully understanding. I again forgive the ignorance here. I thought that this was just like producers and like people on your board. Those are the people that were leaving comments. It's people like me that get the opportunity to leave comments. That's game changing. Like that's truly. I love films. I like I mentioned. I lived in LA for a long like while and got acclimated with all of those types of things. Took cinematography classes in high school. Like just learning about different filmmaking skills, etc. Like I love that stuff. My wife even more than me. So for her to have a place to review, um, I think is great. I think that's so exciting. So yeah, I really look forward to playing with the app.
Yeah, and so if you want to see some, films that so Cold Wallet, it's a crypto heist film. Trying to remember exactly what platforms it's listed on, but it's publicly available. And it won one of the Steven Soderbergh awards,
Okay.
and it's just a fun film, a great crypto heist film. And then
Okay.
another one, it's called it was originally called Caladita, now it's called The Quiet Maid. Another wonderful film from a director named Miguel Faust. He won the first Andrews Bernard Award, supported by Steven Soderbergh, $100,000 in finishing funds. It's out there as well that you can rent. And so if you want to see some of the films that have been, curated through this platform, it's out there. It's not like that we're just providing funding and then, people finish their indie film and then it just goes forever quiet. No, there's distribution
Wow.
happening for these films. Yeah.
So it's being offered on multiple platforms then. It's like, can I go find it on I would assume YouTube where I could go pay to rent and then same
Yep.
with like Amazon Prime, those types of
Exactly.
offerings. That's awesome.
Exactly. Exactly. And then soon to come, they'll all be out on DCP Plus.
Exactly. Oh, that's so cool. This
Yep.
is really exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, I try and keep these at an hour. We're coming up on time, Matt, but this was awesome. I hope we can get you back on and we can get more updates when they arise and hopefully when DC Plus is out. Or excuse me, D is it DPC? What is it?
DCP. Yeah. So
DCP,
decentralized
decentralized. All right,
pictures. So
got it.
DCP. Yeah. Yeah.
Very
Just
cool. DCP Plus. I will hopefully we can get stay in touch and I can have you back on once that's launched.
absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, Jeff, thanks so much for bringing me on the show. This is a great conversation.
No, this was a blast. I'm learned a lot today. Can't wait to start using the app.
Right on.
All right, Matt. Take care.
Okay. See you, man.
Cheers.